Hey guys, welcome to Gadgets 360, and today we'll be unboxing a brand new smartphone from Realme. It is the Realme X3 Super Zoom Edition. So let's quickly take a look at what you get in the box and the first look at Realme's brand new Super Zoom smartphone. Now before we go ahead, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit that bell icon so you're the first to know whenever we have a new video. So this is the Realme X3 retail packaging. Not much to see here, simple yellow box with some of the features of the phone at the back. And of course the big name X3 Super Zoom. So this is the Super Zoom edition. There's also going to be a regular X3. So let's pop out this outer wrapping and then open up the box. Wait for it. There you go. So first up in the box, hey, welcome to the Realme family. Thank you very much. Okay, we have a little pouch here for the silicone case, which is always handy to have. We have some regulatory quick start information guide kind of things which nobody is ever going to read. Let's quickly pop this out. And here we go. So this is the Realme X3 Super Zoom in a white color, which is very obvious. Okay, let's keep this aside for now. See what else we get in the box. We have a charger and we have the USB Type-C cable. And finally, we have the SIM eject tool, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so we've just gone through the setup of the Realme X3 Super Zoom, so we can get to the real good stuff, which is the features and some of the specifications of the phone, which you guys are really interested in. So this is the Arctic white color, which looks pretty nice. It's had this nice smooth satin finish, which doesn't really attract fingerprints at all actually, but we'll put it to the test when we use it for a couple of days for the full review. But so far so good. It's also available in a blue version. Now there are two variants of the X3 Super Zoom. There's one with 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage, and there's another with 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. That is the one we have. Now this is LPDDR4X RAM and it is UFS 3.0 storage, so that's good. Now in the front, let's just start with the display itself. Let me just switch to a better wallpaper so perhaps you guys can get a better look. Okay, so in the front we have a 6.6-inch Full HD Plus display. This has Corning Gorilla Glass 5 and it also supports 120 Hz. So it's pretty feature packed. If we just quickly go to the settings and we see there's an option here, screen refresh rate. If you tap this, you can see it's auto select, or you can choose manually 120 Hz or 60 Hz. Now powering the phone is the Snapdragon's 855 Plus SoC, which is still a pretty powerful chip from last year. And according to Realme, this X3 Super Zoom can post the highest Antutu score, which I guess is something to brag about, but it's for those who live by numbers. I guess that's a good thing, and that's something that you should, I guess, keep an eye out for. So Realme says this can post the highest Antutu score. We will again be testing this out if their claim is true or not. The Realme X3 Super Zoom has a 4200 mAh battery and you have 30-watt dart charging or fast charging, and which is pretty good. There is no IP rating in this phone. Realme says it is splash proof. You get like about 3 layers of splash protection, which is good, and it's something we will be definitely putting to the test. Let's see around the phone. Let's take a quick tour of it. Here we have the volume buttons, we have the power button, and we also have the fingerprint sensor. So since this is not an AMOLED display, you get a capacitive fingerprint sensor, which is fine. I have no issues with that. At the bottom we have a Type-C port and we have a single speaker. This has a super linear speaker according to Realme, which also supports Dolby Atmos, which is good. Up on the top we have a earpiece, which you can barely see, but it's there. We have a hole punch cutout, dual hole punch cutout for the two cameras, which is nice. And at the back we have the main star attraction, which we will get to shortly. But first, let's quickly take a look at the UI. So this is running Realme UI, and seems pretty similar to what we've seen recently on recent Realme phones, which is good. And of course, this is based on Android 10 as well, which is another plus point. Now let's take a look at the main attraction, and that is the cameras. So this, as you might have guessed by the name itself, SuperZoom, the main highlight feature of the X3 SuperZoom is, of course, its zoom. And for that, Realme has used an 8 megapixel telephoto camera. So it's using a periscope style camera, which is pretty cool. As you can see from the top, the first sensor has this squarish cutout compared to the circular cutout of the rest. So this is a periscope 8 megapixel sensor with a telephoto lens. Now Realme says it can do 5x optical zoom, which is impressive, definitely, and it can reach a maximum of 60x zoom, which again I'm definitely looking forward to testing out and putting this against the S20 Plus and seeing how it fares. That should be really interesting. Now coming to the main camera, is a 64 megapixel sensor. This is a Samsung GW1 sensor that we've seen Realme use before as well. It has an aperture of f1.8, and one more thing I forgot, the telephoto camera also supports optical stabilization. So it does have OIS only for the telephoto camera, because it can get tricky to take really long zoom shots. So having that extra bit of stabilization to help you assist is always useful. Next up, we have an 8 megapixel wide angle camera, and finally we have what is this, probably is a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now this definitely seems like a token camera just to get that quad camera seal on the box, but as we've seen before, the macro cameras have some use cases, but they're not super duper useful. But anyways, we'll be testing it out irrespective and seeing how they are. Now on the front, we have an interesting setup as well. We have two cameras over here. We have a primary 32 megapixel Sony sensor. This is a Sony IMX616, and accompanying it is an 8 megapixel wide angle camera. So if you want to take group selfies or something, this should definitely come in handy. Now two features that Realme is touting in the X3 SuperZoom, first of all, is obviously the zoom. So other than the zoom capabilities of the X3 SuperZoom, Realme is also touting two new modes. So first of all is a starry night mode, which should be there somewhere in the settings, and you still need to figure out where exactly it is. But essentially what it's supposed to do, at least from what we are told, is if you remember, Google introduced this astrophotography mode in the Pixel 4, and this is supposed to be similar. It's supposed to take multiple long exposure shots, and using AI and a bunch of other wizardry in the background, it's supposed to give you or be able to show you a starry sky or even constellations, which sounds very exciting, and it's something which I will definitely be testing and seeing if it actually works. So that is one thing. The second new software feature which Realme is touting is Nightscape 4.0. Now with this, Realme says that it's added Nightscape to even Pro mode, so you can manually control shutter speed, everything, and also get the benefits of night mode, which sounds cool. There's also an Ultra Nightscape mode, and there is a tripod mode. Obviously we'll need a tripod for this, but essentially there are a whole bunch of new Nightscape modes, and it's definitely interesting to see how this improves upon Realme's previous Nightscape mode, which is Nightscape 3.0, which was already pretty decent. So let's see how this raises the bar in the full review. So that is a quick unboxing and a first look at the brand new Realme X3 SuperZoom. Stay tuned for the full review coming soon. And as always, for everything tech, log on to gadgets360.com.